and welcome to episode 2 of In Your Opinion, where I ask you a question and you tell me your opinion because I asked for it. I usually don't, and you just give it to me anyways. But this time I asked you. Previously, I asked you, in your opinion, what is the best personality trait for a man and why? Make sure you stay to the very end to find out the questions of the day for future episodes and answer them down in the comments below. Let's begin. In my opinion, the best personality trait for a man is humor, because then I could LMAO. Best personality trait a guy can have is being a nerd. Nerds are awesome and into all the best stuff, and they're usually adorable dweebs you can have fun just about anywhere with. I think the best personality trait for a man is family oriented. I think this because then he would be very kind and willing to miss work for the sake of your safety and health. Or artistic, because I'm very creative and artistic. The best personality trait is probably humor, because I always wanted a man who, when I was down, could instantly make me feel better from jokes, or a man, if I had an offensive joke, he would know it was just a joke. They have to be funny, non-cussing, beautiful, pays for every dinner, cooks and works for lots of money, but not ever full time. There you go. Some of those aren't personality traits, but okay. For me, it's caring. Why? Because I think you're not good enough if you're a douche of a guy who doesn't care about your partner or his/her feelings. Party animal, because people have to party sometimes and it's fun. If you're a loner, probably a gamer or something, but if you're outgoing, be a party animal. Ha! Yeah! The worst trait you can have as a male is to be confident. They feel like they can boss you around and be in charge of the relationship. Friends, dating, marriage. I am a little confident, but not so as I'm bossy. What you're talking about is called arrogance. Wait, was I just arrogant just then? Correcting you? Crap! The best trait a man can have is anger, because it's fun to watch. The best personality trait for a man is probably open-mindedness. I don't know how you spell it. Anyways, because then he would be open to the things you like and your family's way of living. But then can't be open-minded to the point where he can't make a decision of his own and just agree with everything. You know a guy's raised right when he matches this. Smart, has style, clean, preferably good hair, funny, not cocky. A lot of those, again, not personality traits. I think a good personality for a man, I'm a dude myself, is friendly, quirky personality, because friends and good things are sure to come. Extra, if you have this personality, the girls will come without even trying because you're just friendly. In my opinion, the best personality trait for someone to have is self-control or self-discipline. I think this because if a person has self-control or self-discipline, then they have enough self-control or whatever to not cuss, to not be inappropriate, to be respectful, and to hold in their anger. Personality trait for a man is sweetness, because if they're sweet, they'll bring you flowers, and when you are sad, and soup when you are sick, and just stuff like that. Depends on what you like. Energetic girls normally go for the football player, whereas computer geeks go for more of a dork and a cute guy, or a guy with a beard. Cough, Matt, cough. What? What? I think the best personality trait for a man is to make the girl or guy laugh and smile, because it's always just good to make someone laugh. You don't know if they might be having a bad day and you might have cheered them up. That's very true. Action of the day. Try to make someone laugh today, because they probably need it. The best personality trait for a guy to have is courage. I think it's important because if I had a guy who was courageous, he would inspire me to do things I would be scared of doing, or things that I normally wouldn't do. I can be very narrow-minded sometimes. The best personality trait for a man would have to be honesty. Why? Honesty makes a good friendship and relationship. Men tend to do things that get themselves in a lot of trouble. If they're honest when someone asks them something instead of lying about it, then they could just be trustworthy. Guys should be honest about how they feel or what they did. By the way, I love you, Matthias, and thank you for everything you've done for me. In my opinion, the best personality trait for a guy to have is sweetness. Not sweet to where they're chicken, but sweet as in standing up for you. The tough sweet. The best personality trait for a guy to have is really kindness. You don't want a douchebag boyfriend/husband. You want someone that will be kind and nice and non-abusive. They'll help you clean or take care of whatever when you're sick. In my opinion, intelligence, because they will hopefully be smart enough to be financially secure and not have to worry about being in debt, etc. Also, to me, smarter people make better parents because they can help teach their kids stuff that other kids their age won't. Another reason it's better is if any situation is to happen all of a sudden, they might not know how to fix it or solve the problem in the least stressful way. I think the best personality trait any human could have is honesty. You know those situations where people ask if you would be loyal to your friends or tell them honestly what you think? I don't get why people lie in situations like that. I'd rather have someone tell me something I don't like to hear, but it's honest, than have someone lie to preserve my feelings. I get into trouble a lot for being insolent, when all I do is give my honest opinion, mostly with an argument. If anything, I think a guy should at least have loyalty. I have a cat who is more loyal than my brothers, but maybe it's because it's a girl. In my opinion, the best personality trait for a guy to have is trust. It is important that a guy trust you and girls, because if there's no trust, then there's no relationship. Trust is something that the two people in a relationship need to be able to do. Whether it be a guy and a girl, or a guy and a guy, or a girl and a girl, trust is the most important trait for guys and girls to have. Be a gentleman, because girls like guys who are nice. Elegantly put, probably true. The best personality trait in a guy would definitely have to be his patience. I'm a very hard person to deal with, and I have been doing my best to change and fix some of my horrid flaws. My boyfriend is very patient with me and helps me become a better woman. Patience is key, boys. The best personality trait I would think is caring, probably because he'll always be there when you need him and he'll always support you, is that they know how to be humble in what they do and how they act. They know that when they've crossed the line and that they're aware of what they're doing. I just think because it's always good to know what you're doing, and if you know, you're making the ones around you happy. The best personality trait a man could have would be caring. You need someone who cares about you and your feelings. Without that, they wouldn't be a great choice. Also, another great personality trait a man could have would be just being funny. Someone to cheer you up and give you a good laugh. The best personality trait for a man to have is to be really honest. Dishonesty is such a big deal breaker. No one wants to deal with a guy who constantly lies about his feeling, whereabouts, friends, or anything else important. And yes, that includes little white lies too, because if he lies about liking your outfit, there's no telling whether he feels he can lie about something else. Also, you want to know whether he's going to treat you well or ditch you in a one-night stand kind of way. Especially if the guy's a really bad liar, then he should assess the situation and actually tell the truth for once. Well, there's my reason. You didn't say it had to be short. In my opinion, the best trait a man can have is respect. If you don't respect a woman, it's a lot harder to be better boyfriend in other aspects such as humor and romantics. The best man trait is that he is godly. Men who are such are strong in faith and love their wives and girlfriends like they love their mothers. And they're gentlemen. Hopefully slightly different than they love their mothers. For me, the best quality for a man would be equal passion for animals and a bonus eye for detail in their behaviors. If he never had a pet before and can't appreciate how cute they look when they're sleeping, he should get out of my house, get donkey kicked by a horse, and dive bomb into a meadow muffin because he's boring. The best personality trait, in my opinion, is being trustworthy. Trust is fundamental to life. If you cannot trust anything, life becomes intolerable. A constant battle against paranoia and looming disaster. Relationships are built on trust, so if you can't trust a person, what have you got? That is very eloquently put. If you can't trust someone, what have you got? I remember having to write essays with the criteria for comments in this new series. Fair point. Guys, if you like this series, make sure you give it a like. That's how I know to make more. I look at that like button because it means that whoever's watching it, if they like it or dislike it. If view counts don't necessarily matter that much to me because maybe I made a really good thumbnail. So if you're watching it and you like it and comment, then I know to keep making this. Or is this just homework for you? Here are the upcoming questions for future episodes. Question number 1, what is the best personality trait for a woman to have or for a girl to have, and why? Why is the key part. #woman. Now remember, I said personality trait, not physical trait. Question number 2, what would be the dumbest reason to end up in jail? Just like, what would be the dumbest reason to end up in jail? Use the #jail for that one. Guys, if you're gonna answer both questions, make sure they're in 2 separate comments because it's hard to like screenshot and all that stuff. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you give it a like if you do, because that lets me know to keep making more of them. So, high five.